ladies and gentlemen, live from the broken down, low rent, sleazy, double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever Southern.
Attention.
CPR Street Gang, this is Almighty. Standing by, over. CPR Street Gang, this is Almighty. Standing by, over.
Right now, it's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines,
clock's run out. Time's up.
Wind is blowing cold and dark. On the road and no way out. A broken house, a smoking gun. On the run. On the run.
Now, I was hanging out with a friend of mine. He's a white guy, you know. We were just hanging out, and we were lost in the city. You know, we were smoking a joint. Now, I don't know if it's a coincidence that we were lost and high and shit, but my white buddy, he was smoking a joint.
Dave, it's the goddamn cops. I'm gonna ask him for directions.
I said, Chip, no! Chip, don't do it! It was too late. He was walking over there. This man was high as shit.
Excuse me, sir.
Touching him and shit.
Excuse me. Need some information.
Start confessing things he shouldn't confess.
I'm a little high. All I want to know, which way is 3rd Street?
The cop was like, hey, take it easy. You're on 3rd Street. You better be careful. Go ahead, move it. Move it. And that's all that happened. That's the end of the story. Now, I know that's...
My name's Jimmy. It's Monday night, Tuesday morning, and Into the Microcosm is on the yacht.
Hey, well, I'm a friendly stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? I got pictures, got candy, I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star. I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. I'm your vehicle, woman. By now I'm sure you know that I love you, I need you, I want you, got to have your child. Break God in heaven, you know I love you.
Epic Tournament. Are you there?
I am here.
Excellente. Well, it's good to see you. Monday. Hanging by a thread, man. Hanging by a thread. But great to be here on Aftermath FM. So how was your week?
Mondays are normally hard for me, going back to work, even though, work isn't always that terrible, but I got called in Saturday. It sucked. I got called in Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning, man. I had to work all day. And then I was like, man, I lost my whole weekend. It kind of sucked. I was feeling all bummed out. And I woke up this morning, and it was freaking beautiful outside, man. It was freaking beautiful. And it's like, well, okay. I guess it's not that bad,
No.
And sometimes, I mean, that's all it takes, man. It just takes a little bit of goodness to override all the bad you're feeling. And it did for me today. I'm glad to share it with you guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's hard right now to really. I mean, the barrage is nonstop, man. And so it's hard to have a. You get tired, man. I mean, it seems like it's hard to get sleep. It's hard to get up. It's hard to everything just seems I don't know, not so motivational. Well, hey, it's the Wild Ride tonight, and it's about to get wild because I'll tell you right now, Dr. Rowe normally comes blazing in here in some ride, but tonight he was on a Dutch bicycle. And he was moving kind of slow, like Uncle Joe. But I did see I think it was a Red Bull in the cup holder on the handlebars. I don't know. We'll find out.
Down at the bottom of that tree, there's a little old box. It's really the home of Mr. Wizard the Lizard. Mr. Wizard? Please, Mr. Wizard? Listen, Grassy, Glossy, Chrome. Time for this one to come home.
Get down, 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 get down.
It's Monday night, going into Tuesday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for the doctor. Mr. Rowe, the Right Reverend Dr. Rowe. Are you there?
Get it.
Hallo,
Is that your bell on your bike?
goedenavond alles. Goed, alles goed. Alles sanneboom. Hallo rustig. Rustig aan, as they say in Amsterdams.
What makes what makes Dutch bicycles so much better? Do you know? I mean, it's just
They're easily available. They're like the Lada of bicycles. They just keep going. There's nothing really fancy about them, but they are easily repairable. They're standard, and they're cheap. When I was living in Amsterdam, you could go up. There's an area that you could go to for about €10. You can get yourself a bike, but you got to be careful because they're always stolen bikes. And you just walk around, and you find somebody who's walking with a bike next to you, and he'll be like, "Hey, you want to buy this bike?" Yeah, you could hand him €10, and then he sort of casually lets you take over the handlebars of the bike as you're walking through, the light supplying or whatever, and you get on and you ride away. But you got to be careful because if the police catch you, they go after you, the buyer. They don't go after the seller. So.
Well, it's interesting because we've been talking a couple times.
But it's not nice by the way, it's not nice to steal bikes. Don't steal bikes. I'm not advocating that. Go ahead.
Now, I think drunk people take them, ride them, and then just get off.
Oh, let me tell you a little story. One time when I was living in Amsterdam, I was on one side of the canal, and my girlfriend at the time was on the other side. And I rode my little bike over to her house, and all I was doing was running in real fast to grab something and leave. So I didn't lock my bike. I just left it in front of her door, and it's right there. I run up. I was in 30 seconds. I grabbed something, gave her a little kiss. I walk outside, bike's gone. I'm like, what the F? So I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. So I start walking home, and I'm walking down this touristy street, and I hear, because the bike had a unique sound. It had this weird squeak, and I hear it behind me, and there's a crowd of people, and there's this homeless guy who's just casually trying to maneuver his way through the crowd of people. And he obviously doesn't know it's my bike. So I wait till he gets right next to me. I stop, grab the handlebar, turn around, and I say, yeah, thanks. I say it in Dutch. I say, thanks for bringing my bike back to me. And by the way, the word in Dutch for bike is fiets. Like your feet, feets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
did you see recently, did you see that they're trying to move the windows away? They're trying to move the sex trade.
Well, they've already started. They've got several of them. they converted into, even when I was there, this was back, shoot, I was there last in 2011, I guess. They had converted several of the windows into these like little fashion displays where they'd have a mannequin, and the mannequin have like whatever lingerie or something, they're trying to sell some clothes. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, did you see the proposed architecture of this new center that they want to build? It's just going to be. I watched the thing about it, and the guy was walking around going, "Yeah, well, it's not. We just want to attract a higher clientele of tourists."
Yeah.
Or
oh,
whatever.
come on now. I mean, Amsterdam, the Centrum, and that's I actually lived in the house, the flagship house of one of the guys that owns the largest set of red light windows, and these guys make a lot of money. Each window, the girls rent those, and they rent them for 8-hour periods during the day and during the night. And it's like, when I was there, it was like 80 euros for a 8-hour period in the daytime for some windows, and about 160 euros for 8 hours at night. And some of them have premiums like on weekends. So, you times that by, let's say you own 150 windows. That's 150 times 80 let's say if you sold, let's say 100 times 80 every day, and 100 times 160 every night in euro, that's a lot of cash.
It's a lot of cash,
and there's a lot of high-end clientele already rolling through the center of Amsterdam. You got several mafias living side by side. It's a hub for the high-end folks. You've got the fashion industry is also there. You have, the competition for the girls is absolutely fierce, or at least it used to be. You've got the gray market, the black market, and just Amsterdam is known for being very cosmopolitan, and those girls see everything. If you want to know about the Dutch underworld, you make friends with the girls, because they have those windows. They're also connected. And behind them, a lot of people don't know, but there's little hallways and tunnels that you can go through, and then connect each window. So like, you can go in one window on one end and another window on another end, have some sort of special meeting behind the back rooms, and both of you guys come out different windows, and it just looks like, completely separate stuff nobody would ever know. So
hold on. I got a wild tangent. I just got to follow up on. So Albert Hoffman discovered LSD in 1936. He was riding a bicycle home, and so the song "Bicycle" by Queen and the song "Bike" by Syd Barrett and Pink Floyd are about that, right? And so you have this connection to these windows in Amsterdam, because it was in Amsterdam when this happened, right? And so is that why they call it window pane acid?
I have no idea.
Wow.
I have no idea.
Wow. Hey, listen to this. So, I watched an interview with one of the girls that rents a space, and she's totally into it. I mean, she had this little ukulele thing that she played. She sat in the window and played this ukulele. And the thing is that the guy asked her a bunch of questions, like, do you choose who you want to have come in and stuff? And she was like, yeah, for the most part, she doesn't really get with anybody she doesn't want to be with, and she was
absolutely.
Yeah, she was really into it too. I mean, she was into the whole sexual aspect of it.
Many of them are. I had many friends that were working windows. Most of the girls that practically every girl that I knew was
window
working
shopping.
And they would come and hang out at my house. I mean, I lived upstairs from the office where they checked in. So that gave me a little special in on this, because I would go downstairs every morning and grab a Red Bull out of the vending machine, because it was the cheapest place in Amsterdam to get a Red Bull. And I mean, since I was, renting the house from them in the office, nobody else could go in there. That's off limits, because there's a lot of money. The girls need protection, all that. So you don't go in that office unless you're somebody. So that kind of gave me a little extra, like, who's this guy? To a lot of people. I became the American, and then I would go to the clubs, and then one girl, she would have her friends come over to my place, because I had, a nice flagship house at the time. It was really nice. It was right there in the center. So my house actually became a party house.
Sweet.
I even had, I don't know if you have, David Hatcher Childress. You heard of that?
Yes, I've heard
Yes, of course.
He hung out at my place in Amsterdam, David Hatch, because he had a bookstore, the Frontier Bookshop, which was just right around the corner, very close to the Anne Frank house and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I went down there, and he was there giving a speech. And I was a member. I'm still a member of the World Explorers Club, his little deal, and I bought books from there.
Hold on, there's a South Park parody that you know.
You got to send me the link. And
There is.
and so I was hanging out. I wore a Masonic shirt just to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And then after everybody left, I introduced myself at the time, and said, hey, if you ever want to, come visit, I live right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, sure, let's go. And we partook a little bit. He likes to play pool at the Pool Dog there, the little coffee shop, and we went down to my place, and so he came by a couple times, and because he had that bookstore, or the bookstore. So that was a neat little thing that used to happen. And just, I was sitting there. I had one point, I was sitting there watching TV, and I had one girl from Bulgaria. She was cooking dinner, and two other girls. One was vacuuming, and the other one was mopping. And I was like, I'd have to be crazy to leave this. I have three beautiful girls doing this, and they're all happy about it. They're all,
Why did you leave?
Oh, well, after spending about a decade there, it was a long story, but I'll tell you off air.
Yeah. Sounds like one of those off-air type stories. So
it's an interesting story. I mean, but yeah, one day I'll tell it on air.
So, did you meet the guy? Because you were with David Hatcher Childress, right? So, did you meet the guy from the Uparts, Klaus? What's his face? He's from there, right? Klaus something.
Schwab.
I'm trying to look for his name.
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, Klaus Schwab. No, not Klaus Schwab. Not Klaus Schwab. That would be fascinating.
You met Klaus.
It's already a fascinating story.
I didn't meet him, but Putin did walk by my house. I was right there. I mean, I was on what they call, if you know Amsterdam, I was at the near Nieuwzijdskolk, which is near the Singel Canal. There's a big church there, the Dominicans Kerk, and the red light company was actually called Middelpunt, Middle Point, and they own just about all red lights on the single side, and then on the old side, Svorburg Wall, they own maybe about 30% of those windows. And then there's a couple other little spots in Amsterdam where they're not touristy. You have to know where they are, but there are cheaper windows that the locals use, and they're not in the centrum. You have to go out, and there's used to be what they call the Tippel Zone, which is where you go with cars, but that's way outside the city, and it's like a pain to get to. And I think they took that out and moved all the girls inward. But yeah. So it was a fun time, and they tell the stories, man. You learn everything because, like I said, they get the clientels are for these girls are every politicians. You've got diplomats, you've got the mafias, and the locals, and so they get all the information. And then they chatter and then gossip, and they used to hang out in my living room and gossip about stuff. I mean, I could write books on what was going on. I was giving tours to Dutch people on New Year's Eve, like.
You should start a website, Dr. Rose Underground Amsterdam Tours.
Oh, yeah. There was a point where we were doing the club at least 4 or 5 nights a week. You'd be like, there was definitely Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday were club nights.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Sunday actually was the best night.
Were you spinning? Were you spinning records? Were you spinning records at those clubs?
No. I personally wasn't spinning anything, but I did help arrange a few parties, and I knew some of the DJs, but it would be it would be pretty wild because like Monday was designated shopping day, because that was usually the only day that there was nothing going on.
Did you go shopping today? Is it still a habit now? Years later.
It's different in America. Actually, the difference though in Holland, they don't use a lot of preservatives, if any, in their food. So like when you live in the center of Amsterdam, and that you wake up and you go downstairs and you're like just 2 or 3 doors down from a little shop that sells, let's say, the bakery, and then you get your morning sandwich and your meat and maybe your eggs and whatever for the day. So people in Holland, they go and get their food every day. They eat fresh food every day. If you buy bread and you leave it one day, it's bad the next day. And I remember moving from America the first time when I experienced this. I went to the store and I bought a bunch of stuff. And then the next day, a lot of it started going bad. I'm like, this bread doesn't even keep two or 3 days. And I'm like, no preservatives. Oh, okay, now I get it. And so it's a different habit. You can buy one chicken breast. You can buy a half a loaf of bread there. You can buy very small portions, personal size portions. I mean, I live alone, and when I'm alone, I mean, I can't go shop at a place like Costco or main supermarkets where they're like, here's a pack of 12. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, but don't worry, it'll keep for 3 weeks. Why will it keep for 3 weeks? I'd rather have a fresh thing. Okay, it's a little bit of a pain to go every day, but the difference is in America you need a car. A place like Amsterdam, that's a bikers city. I mean, there are so many bikes. Oh my God, they have their own bike lane. And in fact, the way the law is, if it fits in the bike lane, you can use the bike lane. So they got these little tiny cars. they're little, like one person car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they'll drive those in the bike lane. You can drive the 3-wheelers and the little quads in the bike lane, even with an engine. Motorcycles, they have their own signal. So you got to pay attention. You got bike signals, pedestrian signals. The tram has its own signal,
mm-hmm.
and then of course the cars, and everything's intersecting and crossing everything. And there's poles and signs sticking up out of the ground all over the place. And then it's Amsterdam, so everybody's high. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are high. Assume that a tourist is, halfway out of his skull. And whether it's marijuana or alcohol, I mean, that's just the way it is. So it's amazing that there aren't so many accidents, you would think. And I remember standing one day on the street corner just watching this crescendo of unchoreographed chaos just synchronizing itself, like people walking across the cars, and I'm like, wow.
It's too bad you didn't queue up Dark Side of the Moon and sync it up with it.
Yeah.
What is that, Epic Journeyman? You sync up Dark Side of the Moon with
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, listen, hey, we're coming up on the top of the hour, so when we get back, we're going to start getting into the wild ride. I'm just saying right now, I mean, it looks to me like some of the things you're describing, may potentially be going on here in America. Maybe there's going to be a black market. Maybe there's going to be a place sort of like that developing outside the normal realms of commerce, so to speak. I mean,
a gray market.
Yeah,
like flea markets. Already around here, we have flea markets, and undocumented immigrants will go there and they'll do a strictly cash system, and they get everything they need at the flea market.
Right.
So, it's not illegal, but it's not exactly up and up all on the books. Everything is done strictly cash and no questions asked.
And pretty much, I mean, prostitution is just pretty much they've eliminated the windows and they've replaced them with phone screens.
And I tell you, some of the girls that I met were some of the nicest, most wonderful people I've ever met, and I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that most of my friends and just, in Holland were associated with the red light district, and for a while I even helped out with some security because they got these little buttons. The girls can push a button. You don't take pictures, just little, no cameras. But if somebody's given and the French, I don't know what it is with French people. When they get drunk, you would think it's the Brits, but no, it's the French. They get drunk and they really become assholes, and they start hassling the women. And every once in a while, the girl will push a button in the room, and then whoop, 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 and my house was right there. The alarm would actually ring in my living room, quite literally, and right outside my window was a strobe light. So I just got accustomed, like if the alarm went off, I'd run downstairs, and by the time I'm outside, so are 3 other huge bodyguards. And I was going to the gym every day. And so, yeah, I mean, I got into that kind of thing too. So it was an interesting time.
Wow.
I remember one of my friends who did diplomatic executive protection. He was also working, the office there. And a guy named Ewan, huge Dutch guy. And he came one day. He comes looking all sad and everything. This huge guy looking. I said, Ewan, what? Why so sad? You know, what's Gebert? What's wrong? And he's all, oh, well, I just got from the jail, and I lost my job as executive protector. And I'm like, why? What happened? He said, well, there were these guys, and let's just say I was wrong. The way he said it, like,
oh no,
like, I was wrong. And I'm like, oh no, you know, he must have pommeled him.
Yeah,
and,
must have took him out.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
The way he just looked down, he's like, let's just say I was wrong.
Hey, it's Aftermath FM. That's Dr. Rowe. Tell me they can find you. Tomorrow, you got a show coming up tomorrow, Studio A, Revolution Radio at 1 p.m.
Maybe, because I have people jackhammering and doing remodeling in the house, so I've had to take a couple days off because it's been so loud during the day here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I'll be on tomorrow, but normally I am. Yes, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I've worked a jackhammer, and the worst part about it is after about 4 hours, thing weighs 90 pounds. You got to pull it up out when it gets stuck. You got to get stuck and you got to pull it out. And after about 4 hours of that, man, you're about to drop dead. Well, at least I was. You know, I'm not.
It weighs 65 pounds on average. So it doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, it is, but when it's going up and down like that, and you have to pull it out like you're talking about, every time you lift 65 pounds.
I tried it out there. All check it out, and I was like, nah, you guys can jackhammer.
Yeah,
there's heavier ones that are 125 pounds, but the thing is, the 65-pound one's the standard. And that still supersedes. It goes beyond OSHA standard.
Mm-hmm.
OSHA standard is anything above 50 pounds is a two-man rule. You'd have two people, and so it's one of those things. It's like, well, you know, what exactly is OSHA good for if it's not even enforcing its own rule?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Check this out. I got an email today from Outsource. That's the name of a telecommunications service. You know, they provide people. It's like a temporary agency type operation. And they said they wanted to know what my status was because I'm registered with them from a long time ago. And I guess they're going through their files trying to figure out who is or who isn't. And they asked me what my status was, and they referenced OSHA as though OSHA has now come out with that document, which I don't think they had. And I was going to send them back an email and get smart. You know what I mean? But I decided you know what, man? We'll be right back.
Never can say goodbye. No, no, no. Never can say goodbye. Even though the pain and heartache seem to follow me wherever I go. Though I tried to hide my feelings, they always seem to show. Then you tried to say you leave me.
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold, arms and or legs often go to sleep, sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe, short walks cause cramping or pains in legs, memory is not as good as it used to be, ankles swell late in the day, chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
On June 1st, 1996, John and Joyce Edmonds purchased a ranch in Rainbow Valley, Arizona. What has ensued for the past 2+ decades defies all accepted understanding of our reality. Portals, aliens, abductions, incursions, and life-threatening confrontations. Stardust Ranch has become one of the most compelling paranormal stories of the last quarter century, studied by multiple agencies, public and private, and featured on countless documentaries, including Ghost Hunters. Stardust Ranch remains one of the most compelling mysteries of our time. Get your copy of Stardust Ranch, The Incredible True Story, available exclusively on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover.
Take my mind beyond the trees. I was slipping into darkness. Yeah.
Monday through Friday, 10:30 Pacific, right here, Aftermath FM. It's Into the Microcosm.
Beyond the trees.
My name's Jimmy.
Where I
Sitting here with the Epic Journeyman and the Right Reverend Dr. Rowe. And
who never said their name. Slipping into darkness.
tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mosey on over here to the Wheel of Fortune and see what we can shake out of these current events here. You see here, where's that wheel? There we go. Hang on a second here. It landed on Epic Journeyman. Epic Journeyman. Oh, you
better hope I'm here.
All right. Well, listen. What is your? I mean, there's current events overflowing out of the cup of information here. What is on your radar? Now, I heard you earlier talking about Facebook and this whistleblower. You want to get into some of that there? And go ahead.
Yeah, the Facebook papers, they call it. It's actually really interesting because it turns out that the whistleblower from 60 Minutes a couple weeks back and all this stuff that's making all this fracas, you know, she's also testifying in the EU and most recently in Great Britain. And it turns out that Facebook knew all along and planned all along to generate conflict. Like they knew that conflict generation was the most profitable thing. So in other words, you'd be directed to something that made you pissed on purpose. That's freaking horrifying if you think about it. Like in other words, it's not that one of the examples they gave was they made these artificial personalities to test within the organization itself inside Facebook. In 2019, they made this one girl, for example, who doesn't exist. It's just somebody made it up, right? And to test her algorithm. And she's like, I'm a white Christian woman who follows Trump and is a Republican. That's all there is. Like that's all there is inside that profile. There's nothing, elaborate beyond that. It's nothing, that should direct in a particular way beyond that. Within 2 days, she was directed to QAnon. And within a couple of weeks, her feed was nothing but QAnon. Well, how is that even possible? It is because they want to generate conflict. And it turns out that this is not just this particular profile with her. It's whatever political spectrum or whatever is going to generate outrage for you, because outrage generates clicks. Outrage generates participation, and participation is profitable. Yeah, that's what's on my mind right now.
Well,
the Facebook papers.
And the thing is, what the fuck gives you freedom? Freedom gives you opportunity. Opportunity makes your future. And here's the thing. She's got ties to the Obama administration, from what I understand. You might want to shake that tree a little bit more. What
are you talk? Oh, you talk about the girl who's testifying.
Yeah, the test.
I'm trying to look at her name. Francis something, right?
The
yeah,
the whistle blower or whatever. Yeah, the whistleblower. Is there? Hey, let me ask you this now, Dr. Rowe. Let me ask what your opinion on this is, and I want yours too, Epic Journeyman. Is there really a such thing as a whistleblower. I mean, to me, this is how it looks to me. Like if I'm looking at the landscape, you know, the country that we live in, the level of corruption, the overall gangster like, structure. It doesn't seem to me that anybody who's got anything to say about whistleblowing would be alive to whistleblow. And if you are whistleblowing, it's only because someone's allowing you to do that, and it's been sanctioned for that to get out until that you run around and tell that story and write your book. What do you think about that? You think are there really whistleblowers?
Well, I think you're right about one part of that. Like, so Frances Haugen, that's her name, is unquestionably allowed to do what she's doing, right? Like in other words, they already knew it was coming out and they were okay with it. They felt they could deal with that. And what they're doing is they're moving the needle, right? So if because what happens is people look at it and like, well, this is awful. This is horrible. How is this all happening? But then you have the addicts on their side saying, well, I don't want to give it up. I don't want to give it up. I could accept a little bit. You know what? I could accept that. So you're moving the needle. You're letting people know this is happening to them and make the decision on their own to still participate. And that's moving that window, that Overton window, right? That's
I
what
I don't just mean her. I mean anybody. I'm just saying, if there's some, let's just say there's some guy who used to be in some secret society. He comes out and says, I'm a whistleblower. I used to be in a secret society. Okay? How do you know he's in a secret society? You don't. I mean, he said, I'm going to whistleblow. Okay, well, he whistleblows, right? If he was a part of that secret society, didn't he take an oath of secrecy? So isn't blowing the whistle in and of itself a fucking death sentence?
It is.
So, okay, so what I'm saying to you is if you see somebody that says I'm a whistleblower or whatever, I mean, how do you know? For real. I mean, the thing is have there ever been any whistleblowers? Or have they all been whistleblowing in a controlled fashion, giving us just enough to be outraged, but satisfied that somebody uncovered it or was whistleblowing, and now we can go back to what we were doing before? Because now it's all exposed and everything.
I'd say that there was a whistleblower for the Freemasons, actually, back in the turn of the century, to 1900s, in America, who was murdered. And I can't remember his name. Forgive me, I can't think of it on the top of my head, and normally I would. But the thing is, he was murdered, and he was buried at the seaside, and the whole thing, like you're sworn to do, if you betray, right? And because he wrote this book. And the thing is, that did expose the Freemasons, and it did make the Freemasons have to go underground for decades after that. So there are times when it happens, no question. So it happened there. It happened there. Is this one of those instances with
is he
Facebook?
alive?
I don't know if it's a secret society, but they do have that weird jacket that
is he alive?
is up as everybody.
Did he get killed?
Oh, the guy he did.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure he did, because that in itself is a ritual. Isn't Hiram Abiff? Isn't that why they go ear to ear? Because you get your throat cut if you tell the secrets that you're not supposed to tell.
They buried him at the sea with the slack tide. That whole thing, as far as I can remember from the story. Yeah,
upside down with rocks in your. We'll hang you upside down with rocks in your pocket from a bridge.
That's right. That's right. Well, so even on these lawsuits where somebody comes forward with some piece of a story, something was going on down at the factory, they were putting this in the such and such, and I want to tell everybody about it. And they come out and tell about it, and they pay some fee for the damages that were caused by whatever they whistleblow about. But meanwhile, there's way more stuff going on, and they were just getting out ahead of it with that just to draw attention away from it, because now you're not looking at, like I said, we're in the world when we're watching this media going by that we see, we kind of hear stuff out of one side of our ear, and then it gets our hackles up and we get disturbed by it. But then once we feel like there's some sort of a happy ending or whatever, we feel like we could let it go and not think about it anymore. You guys see what I mean? It's like, well, it's a whistleblower's coming forward. Okay, well, I don't have to go after Facebook anymore, because now there's a whistleblower. So I don't have to worry about it anymore. Now everything's going to be all right. And it makes people relax, even though the whistleblower is only coming out with like, a pimple on an elephant's ass worth of nothing.
Like Snowden, the NSA, right? Like Snowden didn't work for the NSA. People forget that. He worked for a contractor. He didn't work for the NSA directly.
Yeah.
So I mean, there you go. I mean,
see
what you're talking about how you can say this person came forward. He's doing his penance, living in Russia with all these girls at his behest, basically. I think he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. In some ways, I do. But still, he wasn't actual NSA. He was a contractor for the NSA who betrayed, or did he betray them by letting all this information out?
Yeah, and just
because like you said, it moves the window, right? It lets
right.
people know. Oh well, okay. Well, I guess it's all okay now. Snowden let his stuff out.
Yeah, he revealed
and his
everything.
stuff was all about artificial intelligence, by the way. It was all about the sentient world simulation. People forget that. That is exactly what it was about. It was about the sentient world simulation.
Well, everyone's about to move into the sentient world simulation on Facebook because they're changing their whole image now. They're going to be metaverse. Billy Ray Valentine talked about this on Infinite Fringe. They changed their logo. There's a new logo coming out. It's an inverted delta symbol with 666.
666 like Chrome. Yep.
Yeah, it's got 666, and there's a circle in the middle is the circle for all the sixes that go around this delta. And now, of course, that's the Eye of Horus there. But, they're planning on everyone being completely and totally immersed in virtual reality.
Dude, there was an announcement today by Pimax, which is a high-end headset. Today, October 25th, and what it is, it's going to be this 12K headset that is wireless that can download things 6G from the internet directly to the headset, right? So it's wireless, but you can also plug it into your PC if you want to. It sounds incredible, but the thing is, it just got announced today, and I think it's interesting that they call it virtual reality 3.0. In other words, it's the next step in VR. Like this is where it's going, and if it's got human resolution, eye tracking, that what you see pixel density wise, and in other words, it's almost human field of view. Human field of view is at max 210 degrees for most people. This is 200 horizontal and 135 vertical. So it's going to be like your real life field of view with that pixel density indistinguishable from reality, available by Q4 2022. Pretty freaking badass, man. And so we talk about virtuality because I'm in the industry a little bit, but the thing is, this is a game changer if they can deliver on this. Yeah, there's no there's no differentiation between
and as things
virtual reality and reality anymore at a certain point.
And as we move into the future, and your footprint gets smaller and smaller. In other words, the amount of space that you live in on a daily basis, you know what I mean? The actual your private living space is probably going to get smaller and smaller. And as it gets smaller, you're going to want to be in this. When you're in your headset, it's not as small as it was. All of a sudden, you're actually just. I was looking at some of the graphics yesterday at some of this stuff, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, man, when it gets to a point where the game can render as I think, as a result of what I'm thinking. Because it can detect brain waves of mine at a certain moment. You know what I mean? Or it sees me. It can sense me looking to the right, so it sends an assassin from my left. That kind of thing. Like
this is what's important about this. I want to point this out. Like this is what's different about this particular headset. So it has all these abilities. It's wireless. It can be plugged to your PC. You can do all these things. It's human resolution, pixel density basically, as far as what you're seeing, and it's human resolution and field of view. Well, it also has eye tracking. It tracks your eyes wherever they look, right? It tracks your facial expressions. Mm-hmm. It tracks your body movements. It tracks all those things. I mean, it is gathering all that data on you, and so for I couldn't help but think that this is this gateway drug, so to speak, to make people give up all of their data.
It's gonna
right?
be
It's
like
giving
crack.
up everything about you.
It'll be like crack.
Everything you physically do.
It's like crack. I'm telling you. Buzzachino in the chat room over in the microcosm of Jimmy Jean Strike Zone. He says the new AR contact lenses are incredible and they're ready for the metaverse. So, interesting, eh? So, I guess admit to a bunch of faulty this and that's, abandon the old Facebook thing, and then rebrand yourself as a metaverse, Dr. Rowe, and put on your ear shades and put on your eye plugs. You know where to put the cork. You know what I mean? What the hell? Why not just sit in a helmet all day? And just, get your intravenous. A guy came out and did a GoFundMe, and he came out with something called Soylent Green, and you can buy it off the shelf now.
I don't want to eat it though.
No, don't eat. It's people, man. No, this isn't people, but it's a complete drink though. And it'll take care of your daily needs. If you guzzle one down, you're all good. So, did Dr. Rowe go into virtual reality just now? Or is he back, or is he augmenting his reality at this point?
Augmenting, man. I think it's like little baby steps to get people accustomed to tuning out of the real world and plugging in. There's a theory that they're slowly going to try to make the real world not as attractive as the virtual world, so that's also a method of control to, that people will want to plug in because, if the things keep going the way they're going, reality will be miserable, to the point where, hey, you want to go on vacation, you can't, you're locked down in your cities or whatever. But if you want to go to the beach or you want to go to the mountains, all you got to do is put on the little VR helmet. And, and maybe if you want, and you have the technology, we can sync that up so that you can have an avatar-like experience. And you won't, it's not just going to be where you virtual, you can turn your head. You'll be able to feel the sensation. You'll be able to smell the flowers if you want, feel the wind blowing against you. And maybe you won't even need a helmet. It'll just be, with the technology, the nanotech type of technology that they're trying to advance upon the populace. I believe that this is I wouldn't say the end result, but a desired outcome to be able to make like what Yuri, what's that Israeli scientist, Yuri, what's his name, said.
Yuri Geller?
No, another guy in Israel who said that humans are going to be, he's one of the Davosians from Davos. Humans are going to become hackable animals. And that they want to make it so that there is no more free will or anything, but everybody is, of course, a node hooked up to the hive mind, hooked up to the collective. And then if you, want to take a vacation, you'll never need to leave your house. You'll be able to run a program that'll be interfaced with your identification, and it will include your entire body sensation. You could go virtual dates with people and have virtual sex, and it'll feel just like the real stuff. And now, first they'll
we're already
sell,
there,
like,
Dr. We're already there,
yeah.
dude.
First
We're
they'll
already there.
sell it like, hey,
this is a hypothetical.
Hey, if you're handicapped or you have some sort of physical impairment or you're elderly or whatnot, you can't walk, you can still enjoy the pleasures of the flesh. All you got to do is take these little augmentations, and we will augment your reality to the point where you won't be able to tell the difference. I mean, we're at the very, very rudimentary beginning stages of this right now. But one more side thing I was thinking about, I've held security clearances and things, and I've been on the inside of certain types of R&E and development of technologies, and I've seen people get epiphanies and have ideas and like, hey, we developed this for this, but we found out that it might be better for this because blah, blah, blah. I think that the powers that be that stole the technologies from the ancient worlds, that have a lot of this stuff already, are basically just keeping everything compartmentalized and have these programs of classified top secret stuff so that they can find out when one of us humans actually does have a breakthrough and prevent it from spreading. That if we all were allowed to just collectively get together and brainstorm and research ideas freely without anybody looking over our shoulder, that humanity would advance at a much faster rate, and we'd come out with all kinds of interesting ideas if we were allowed to collaborate. So I think that they keep everything secret to the point where it's inverted. It's to keep us from rediscovering maybe old technologies that we knew about, or so that if something comes out, they can analyze it first and say, oh no, we want to keep this away from, because it would contribute to our advancement. And that's another way that they, whoever they are, the infamous they, are holding us back.
Well, that's right, and that's because we're on the path of revolution, not evolution. So right when we get to wherever we're getting to, and humanity's reaching a certain crescendo where you can make the next step and get away from this current structure that we see, but then something happens, and just like something always happens, doesn't it? Well, listen, I got this dude on the line here, Yuval Noah Harari is this dude's name. And this
I think that's the guy.
That is the guy. It's like, this is your life. You said his name, and I just pulled him out of the green room, and here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Humans are now hackable.
All of us are flooded by enormous amounts of information and distraction. I mean, this is the most distracted age in history. And to really understand the world all your life, you need some peace and quiet. You need some sanctuary from this enormous flood. And for me, meditation provides this sanctuary. Sometimes people try to meditate to have some unique experience of bliss or of peacefulness or whatever. That's not the point. The point is to understand your normal self, who you really are. What are your mental weaknesses? How you are when you're bored, or when you're angry, or when you're fearful. If you get to know that, that's much more important than having, an hour of some special experience. I think without this practice of meditation, I would not be able to write my books or to try and understand what's happening in the world.
So what do you understand is happening in the world?
We are facing enormous challenges, unprecedented challenges. I mean, when you try to look beyond the concept.
I just want to stop it for a second. Now, I've seen this guy a bunch of times on a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different documentaries. And one of the documentaries I've seen him in before was one where he was talking about how Google knows you better than you know yourself. In a lot of ways, and how at some point there just may be this oracle like situation going on, because Google could search the world over and find the exact perfect person for somebody on the other end. I mean, from a match standpoint, personality wise, just lay this matrix over the internet and find you your perfect mate, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So this guy, this guy's writing some books, and I gotta say, he's lost a lot of hair since the last time I saw him. So he looks like he's, gotten a bit older, but probably a bit wiser too. Thanks for bringing him up, Dr. Rowe. Let's check in with him some more here.
Cycle of every day, I think 3 major threats present themselves as major threats to human civilization itself. And these are nuclear war and ecological collapse and technological disruption. I think the most important thing to know about living in the 21st century is that humans are now hackable animals. To hack a human being means to understand that human better than he or she understand themselves, which was never possible in history before on a massive scale. I mean, on an individual level, yes, my mother, at least until a certain age, knew me better than I knew myself. And that was good, because her interests were aligned with mine. And then after a certain age, it's not so good if your mother still knows you better than you know yourself. But it's much, much worse if there is a corporation or a government, rather than a parent, that knows you better than you know yourself.
Does it have to be worse?
Again, it could be used for good purpose. I'm not saying let's stop all technological progress. But if it falls into the hand of a 21st century Stalin, the result is the worst totalitarian regime in history. And we already have a number of applicants for the job of 21st century Stalin. So we need to be very, very careful about it. What I meant is that Homo sapiens is now acquiring technologies that can either destroy us or upgrade us, but will not leave us as we are. Authority will gradually shift from us to these corporate or government algorithms that will increasingly decide almost everything about our life. You apply to the bank to get a loan, it's an algorithm that decides. You apply to get a job, it's an algorithm. Even questions like what to study or whom to marry will increasingly be decided by these algorithms. To stay in the game, you need to get to know yourself better.
So there are some of that. Now, you guys want to jump in here because, here we are. This was, I think he talked about this in 2019, but I think he's been talking about it for a bit. And, we're clearly there already. Obviously, Google does know us better than we know ourselves. Can we all agree on that?
Google does not know me better than I know myself.
They know us pretty well.
Well, they know us pretty well. I'll give them that. But they're just trying to make you think like, the machine knows you better.
Yeah,
no, it's pretty
exactly.
good at deciphering human behavior.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, though, the thing is once you get into these points where you get to this moment, like the O.J. Simpson trial, when they brought DNA evidence in for the first time, and they made it part of our system, then all of a sudden DNA evidence starts to become irrefutable. And then when you have this idea that the algorithmic, calculating of a situation, a moment, and a question, having the ability to provide the exact tailored answer for an individual that will, apply to them in a way that would be, either beneficial or, like we talked about earlier, negatively, if that's a word, negatively. When we're predictable, right? So when he says we become hackable animals, I mean, on some level, don't you think he's referring to, listen, I mean, maybe your deepest, darkest idea inside your own head that you've never in the whole time you've ever been on the internet even thought about or searched when you're on there. You somehow you've been able to hide some aspect of yourself from the internet. You think it's possible to hide an aspect of yourself from the internet? You've never, in the whole time, you've been able to resist searching for this subject that you're interested in or something that you want to look at, but you never have resisted it. You've resisted it, so there's this aspect that you think Google doesn't know about. You just, you two go.
I want to comment on this.
I'm waiting. Go ahead. Yeah, man. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Cause
No. So what I was talking about earlier about this new Premier headset, which is going to be expensive. It's going to be like $2,400. It's going to be expensive, right? But the thing is, it offers so much. It's wireless. It's untethered. It can download things from the cloud. It can give you these super high-end PC experiences without you being linked to the computer. But you link to the computer, it gets even better. right? It has this other. It's just it sounds like this godsend for people who want virtual worlds, right? But the thing is, okay, so Facebook gives away the Quest 2. I mean, gives it away for $299, $300, right? It gives away this high-end virtual reality headset, but all it does is it tracks your motion, and it maps your room. So it has cameras, outward-looking cameras. I mean, I'm not exaggerating here. It's how it does this tracking.
Mhm.
It literally maps your room, right? And that data gets sent to Facebook, and that data is valuable. Well, this headset at this incredible price, actually, for what it does, it was human view and human resolution and all that stuff for the price of $2,500. I mean, that sounds like a lot, but it really isn't for what it's offering. What does it do, though? It maps not only your room, because inside out tracking they call it, where it looks at the cameras look outside and map your room, but it also looks at your eyes and where your eyes are looking at on the screen. So what do you find attractive? You like boobs? Oh, it's gonna know you like boobs, right? I mean, it's gonna look at everything that you see, whether it be a movie you're watching or a game you're playing in, and it's gonna put that out there. Right? And then that's why they're basically giving it away for that price, because I guarantee you it's like a $8,000 headset.
Well,
and so then also it maps your movements, your body movements, your smiles, your quirks, your mouth movements, all these things, your hand movements, everything. That's a huge amount of data. We talk about data scraping all the time, but when you think about it in the context of mapping every move you make, both with your eyes, which indicate your thoughts, and your hands and your body. How valuable is that? How valuable is that?
That's so valuable, especially when you put it to a point where body language and facial expression is down to an algorithm. When it sees your face move this way, it knows you. When you saw a picture on the internet, it saw the way your pupils focused, how quickly you looked at it, how your mouth looked, all that stuff that you're talking about right there. So it can tell when you're sexually attracted to something or someone, and then present you with what you're sexually attracted to as advertising. So in other words, conjure the advertising based on what you're sexually attracted to or what you could be seduced by in any given moment. And I'll even go you one more. I'll bet you that whatever can be done with that piece of equipment you're talking about out there, I'll bet you it can be done with the camera that's on your phone, or the camera that's on your,
a lot of it can,
or the camera that's on your TV, or the camera that's on your computer. Every single place that there's an opening for the internet to look at you, then you can be seen then. So, and take that into consideration with all these people, with all these wireless security cameras everywhere in their houses. They put these up. Come on, man. Those cameras can be, I think if you really dig down in the I accept contract that you sign when you get your free security cameras or whatever you're getting, if you really look in there, there's a clause in there that says law enforcement can take control of your cameras when they need to. So, like, if there's a fugitive running down the street and they need to use your camera at your house because the guy's out in front of your house or whatever, that they can use it. And, of course, you're going to let them do that because why wouldn't you, except for, the negativity of that situation. But do you think there's an aspect that Google doesn't know about you, either one of you?
I'd go one better with this. So the idea of clicking on when the law enforcement enterprises around the world want to go ahead and look for that criminal, right? That you're giving them credit or ability to do that, to look at your outward-looking cameras. They can also look at your inward-looking cameras, of course, right? I mean, Amazon does that right now. But if you look at it like from the other perspective of, it's not law enforcement anymore. It's an artificial intelligence algorithm. Right, and whether it be Alexa or whether it be Google Dream or whatever it might be, right? I mean, now all of a sudden this artificial intelligence, competing artificial intelligences, have access to the same data, because you're opening it up to that data stream, and these things, for lack of a better word, the things, right, are looking at all that data and they're interpreting it differently. They're looking at it differently, but they're looking at it all.
Here, I got a really good question to ask both of you right now. So you can see that ultimately there's going to be a push to have this AI be the judge in trials or whatever, or when you go to court, you know. And you'll be able to have AI, you know, lawyers, I guess, at that point. But at the point that people decide that let the AI make the decision, because it's unbiased, it doesn't have any, you know, problems with it. It's just going to go based on the letter of the law and the precedents, you know, So when this case comes up, it accesses all the case precedences throughout history and comes up with a fair and just decision for everybody. And everyone will, why wouldn't you want to do that? But then there's the negativity of it, and that's the part I'm going to bring up because, you know, my name's Jimmy. So what about when it's taken consideration of a person in court that it also uses all your back end information that it has access to? So I mean, when it decides your fate, it's going to decide your fate based on everything it knows about you, not just the case in front of it, but it actually, you know, it will be able to tap your file, so to speak. What do you guys think about that?
I was typing, sorry. And I messed up my typing too.
Well, I type in, you know, I have access to your file, man. And I'll tell you what,
damn it. Yeah, no, we're talking about Amazon Sidewalk and opting out. You had to opt out of it by June 8th, right?
Yeah, opting out of that, but I'm talking about the AI judging you in a courtroom type situation, because just like DNA,
you can't opt out. You can't opt out of that.
Just like
right?
DNA evidence is now irrefutable. When the AI makes a decision, that's it, because it has access to everything. It knows everything about you, and it has everything to do with that and the case law in front of it. You're no longer just a matter of you walking in the courtroom with a lawyer sitting there for as long as it is, and no one finds out all the real shit about you before they make a decision. What I'm saying is, when it time comes to make a decision about you in court, it isn't just about what you just did. It's the fact that this AI judge can look at you in a way that was literally never possible before. So in other words, it's almost going to be like God, because it'll be able to judge you about what it really knows about you, not what you
going back to the day that it started collecting data on you.
That's
going back
what I mean.
in grade school, if you're a youngster today.
That's what I'm saying.
Going back to the first time you went to school. If you're 22 years old right now, it knows you from the day you were born.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What do you think about that, Dr. Rowe? You know, the AI becoming, first it'll be about your traffic ticket or whatever. It'll be something simple, but then eventually it'll be like, well, hey, there's no bias here. It's real quick. It doesn't, what do you think, Dr. Rowe? Judge, jury, and the executioner, the AI, making that decision about when you show up in court there.
Fuck the AI.
With a capital F?
Yeah, all capital letters.
All right, good. No, what do you think about that, though?
Not complying with their fucking AI.
Well, let me ask you a question then. What about that? What about the AI actually being able to know people better than they know themselves, or the fact that, is there really any aspect of yourself you can hide from the internet once you're on it and doing your thing?
People love to give out their own information. Mm-hmm. People have no sense of OPSEC, I guess, just as their own personal situational security and privacy, and they love to just give their information out to even perfect strangers. when you go to, it used to be like you go to, remember Radio Shack, and they always ask you for their phone number. I mean, I would never give my phone number address, but there were so many people that would just like, oh yeah, sure. I mean, they use their real information on the internet. Now, I guess it's just habit from my lifestyle and everything. I'm a very private person, but so I actively engage in making sure that, you know, certain parts of my information just don't go out there. So yeah, there are things that I've never put out on the internet. But too many people, that's not even something that they think about. It just doesn't even come to play. It's like, it's not even given a second thought, you know. And in fact, there's this underlying, like, you know, the whole I want to be famous kind of thing. Like, they want to be known. People want the attention. People want to leave their mark. They want people to talk about them. You know, it's one thing to like, hey, I used to want to go to the club and be seen. Hey, you know, if you're like, you're with a nice, beautiful girl and you're looking good, okay, that's one thing. But then there's another thing about like to just give your entire life away and put it out there for anybody that you don't even know, the world. It's one thing if you're in a physical environment and you're kind of aware of what's going on, but you don't know who's getting the information that you put out on the web. You just put something out here. Here's my house. Here's what I'm having for dinner on Facebook. Here's my family. Here's everything. We're going to this vacation next month, so our house is going to be empty. So if you want to come by and rob,
we're at the lake. Right. I mean, they're gambling on fame, right? Like I don't get it. Like the mindset. So. Well, I might be famous if people someday in the future look at this information and know that it was me that was at the lake that day when the fish jumped on Kim Kardashian's lap. Well, no. no, man. That's not the way it works. No. But that is the mentality behind it. Like it's a ventured proposition. I'm going to bet on this, right? And it's a horrible bet. It's a horrible bet. You're just letting whoever have access to these most personal thoughts of yours, you know, and that's what's happening with the artificial intelligence, and it doesn't forget, ever. People need to start grasping this. It doesn't ever forget, right?
It doesn't stop. It never.
I know Skynet
ever stops.
Exactly.
Hey, listen. I'm running a bit behind here on my break, and we need to do that. It's Optimouth FM. Mine's Jimmy. $79 right now for the year. You pay once, that's it. The pain is over, and you can forget about it. And it's sometimes you get down the road, and it's like, you have to keep coming up with it every month. It's easy to just, pay $79 instead of paying $10 a month for a year is $120. You're saving money. And believe me, there's a lot of really great stuff going on over there behind the wall of freedom, ladies and gentlemen. So private club, we can do whatever we want. So come on in and join the club, join the family, be a part of Aftermath FM, and we'll be right back.
Since my... How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold, arms and or legs often go to sleep, sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe, short walks cause cramping or pains in legs, memory is not as good as it used to be, ankles swell late in the day, chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Samantha Fish. Faster. And she is as good looking as she can play guitar, ladies and gentlemen. She's great if you ever get a chance to see her. Epic Journeyman, are you there? So listen, man, the Oracle, it knows it's the Oracle of Delphi. It's the Oracle of Alphabet. It's Alphabet Soup. They got you undercover, man. They see what you know. They know what you see. What do you think about it, man? Time up. Here comes Buddy. Let's bring this dude back in here again.
Also, in order to protect yourself against being manipulated by these external forces.
What do you say to those who say, none of this is new, heard it all before, you're sensationalizing what is going on at present, not interested? To which you say what?
Yeah, some things are old, but you now have the biology to understand not only what I say and who I meet, but actually how I feel and what I think. So think 10, 20 years in the future, in North Korea or someplace like that, every citizen has a biometric bracelet on the hand. And they follow not just where you go, but how you feel. If there is a big speech by the big leader on the radio, and everybody must listen, you can smile and you can clap your hands, but they know that you're actually angry. This is a kind of power that nobody in history ever had. It's far beyond even George Orwell's 1984. And this is not science fiction. It's not 1,000 years in the future. Some regimes are already starting to build these total surveillance systems, even now. We have 10, 20 years to do something about it. If we take the wrong decisions, maybe there is no way back. Once you establish a kind of digital dictatorship that has this kind of knowledge of everybody, there is absolutely no way to destroy the system from within.
It seems at the end of this new global order, how important is that there is that disconnect?
That's extremely dangerous because if we get into an arms race situation with AI, with genetics, with biotechnology, it almost guarantees the worst outcome. Because no matter what dystopian scenario you think about, no matter what dangerous technological development you think about, in an arms race situation, the thinking will be, hey, we don't want to do it, but the Chinese are doing it, or the Iranians are doing it, or the Israelis are doing it, and we can't be left behind, so even though it's dangerous, we'll do it first.
Even though it's dangerous, we'll do it first.
You know what they're talking about is autonomous vehicles for warfare. I don't know where we caught it in the podcast, but I remember this. This is like part of the subject matter. And so if you go and you allow vehicles to autonomously attack things, right? Because it's faster than the human decision making, because that's what they're after, right? In a warfare situation, you want to be the fastest one to respond to a critical situation, and human thinking is too slow, weighing the moral constraints and what's right and wrong and all of these things, right? So why not let the computer just go through the thousands of possibilities all at one time and make the decision for you? This is a horrific thing. It really is.
Well, let me just say, they just invested $22 million in, doesn't seem like very much, but in these helmets that are going to be worn by soldiers in the field. And it's got a screen over your face, basically like a face shield. And in that face shield is a, heads-up display all around you. So, like, imagine when, the Terminator movies, when Schwarzenegger was over there scanning the scene, he would, scan and would go, Or like the Bionic Man with that eye. Remember that eye? When he'd look at something. Remember that shit? The Bionic Eye. Well, that's what it's like. It's like that. But you'll be scanning the perimeter. Say this. You're out looking around the perimeter. You'll be able to see night vision. You'll be able to call down a drone strike. You'll be able to throw a pocket drone and blow somebody's head off. At a distance with some facial recognition. You know what I mean? You just send out your little pocket drone the size of a pack of cigarettes. Just flies over there and that's it. Your head looks like a matchstick. One of those wooden ones what you strike it. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to extrapolate with limited information about the helmet, but those are the kind of scenarios you might find yourself in on the battlefield. You might see it.
Those are all real things. I mean, it's funny because you were describing it. It's like, yeah, that's all real. I mean, it's not like in the future.
No,
that's all here. So I think like I was watching Dune last night because the movie came out. I was watching it on HBO Max, right? You can watch the movie, if you have the subscription.
Oh, is it good? Is it good?
It is good. It is good. But you know what it is? It's the original Dune with the David Lynch Dune. There's nothing different because it's based on Frank Herbert's book. It's just the effects are much better and the acting's a little better in my opinion.
Oh, so it's not a total remake. It's the original.
No, it's just like an upgrade. It's just like but the effects being that much better makes a world of difference. I mean, the environment's so much more the star of the movie and really does make a difference. So you find it be too short. The girl only has 7 minutes in the whole movie, right? Which is a problem. She's pretty and all, but which is true to the book. She's not really a big character in the book either, the first one. But yeah. Anyway, so it's worth watching. My point being that what we're seeing is this thing Jimmy's talking about, where the helmet is becoming that much active, and how involved it is, and how technology is so much well developed, more farther than anybody can imagine. That's portrayed in Dune. Dune is 10,000 years from now, basically. Almost 10,000 years from now, and the idea is that these kind of technologies are so well developed. There's measures and countermeasures along the way, to where things like this little assassin bot kind of thing can sneak in, right? By using technology to bypass shields and do all these things, like for every measure is a countermeasure, and I thought it was interesting to see it portrayed that way, because that's what we're dealing with. I mean, we're dealing with something that we're not adept enough right now to know where the state of warfare really is. We're beyond where most people think it is. We're quite a bit beyond that. So like things like carrier task groups don't really mean much anymore.
No, they don't. And the thing is that the kind of warfare that goes on now, there isn't bombs going off. There isn't anything. You can destroy a population with psychological operations. You can literally destroy a population with you don't need to drop bombs. You just need to have the best people behind your social engineering team. What do you guys think about that?
No, that's true. I'd say we're losing a war right now. Absolutely. Here in America, 100%. We're losing because we're not aware that, and it's so funny in a way, because they showed us in the Cambridge Analytica movie, right? The Great Hack. They showed us with Steve Bannon and crew at Cambridge Analytica how they manipulated what happened in Trinidad and Tobago with a Do So campaign, right? So the people who were not the Indian minority voted against themselves, went out and demonstrated instead of vote. Don't vote. We don't want you to vote. Voting is for chumps, right? Basically, right? And they lost. Right? Because they bought into this whole campaign. They had posters. They would have had dance campaigns. They would have partied every night. Woo! Do so! And they lost, right? That's what's happening to us. We are that stupid. We think we're better than that. We're not better than that.
No.
That's what's happening to us. And I think it's marvelous in a bad way to watch. Like, to see that this educated people in America are this susceptible to the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. It's weaponized psychographics. That's what it is. It's mimetic engineering. That's what it is.
That's it.
And we just are oblivious to the fact that we are losing a war that has already started because we don't know that we're fighting it.
No, admitting to some little tiny piece of it that we figured out that we could cause fights on the internet and that gets, excitement or whatever. Come on, man. Really? Oh, okay. Well, it's interesting. I'm glad you whistle blew that.
Yeah. Where were you a year ago or 10 years ago or whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just want to tell you before I leave, beware of the military industrial complex. Really, dude? Why did you wait this until you're leaving office to tell us about it? When you were in office, why don't you do something about it? Thanks for warning us after you leave. Beware. Yeah, right. Okay, so what is it, Dr. Rowe? I know you're over there. I can see the steam coming off the back of your head. Oh, wait a minute. That might not be steam. I don't know what that is. Is that an orb or an entity behind you now in your room? I can sense it. I can see it.
Yeah, you can only see it with the concave lens. You can't see it with the convex lens.
Conversely,
they have everything. All of our equipment is created with, and our eyes are convex lenses. And it doesn't matter whether you're looking at the infrared spectrum or the ultraviolet through this convex lens. Unless you use a concave lens, you will not see the antimatter entities. They apparently are these the terrestrial things that are observing and surveilling our sensitive installations, military installations, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have been discovered by this person who is creating this stuff that uses concave lenses, and he's got videos and pictures of these things they appear to be some sort of what they call antimatter light beings.
Now, I think I have some.
The Lucifer telescope, right?
I think I have this. Now, you sent me this, and there's a video that comes with it. So what we'll do is we're coming up on the top of the hour break. You guys grab a cup of coffee, but keep it tuned right here on Aftermath FM. And then when we come back, we'll get into what Dr. Rowe is bringing to the table for the wild ride. So it's a good thing you stuck around. And so come on in. And what do you think about that, Epic Journeyman? Convex.
I'm all about the Lucifer telescope, man. that is some pretty trippy stuff. I'm surprised it didn't get more traction than it did. It was about 5 years ago. And yeah, they saw these entities that you can always see with that lens.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, now, here we go. We'll be right back.
On June 1st, 1996, John and Joyce Edmonds purchased a ranch in Rainbow Valley, Arizona. What has ensued for the past 2+ decades defies all accepted understanding of our reality. Portals, aliens, abductions, incursions, and life-threatening confrontations. Stardust Ranch has become one of the most compelling paranormal stories of the last quarter century, studied by multiple agencies, public and private, and featured on countless documentaries, including Ghost Hunters. Stardust Ranch remains one of the most compelling mysteries of our time. Get your copy of Stardust Ranch, The Incredible True Story, available exclusively on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover.
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold. Arms and or legs often go to sleep. Sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe. Short walks cause cramping or pains in legs. Memory is not as good as it used to be. Ankles swell late in the day. Chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road.
Monday through Friday, right here, 10:30 Pacific, immediately following Clyde Lewis at Ground Zero. Into the microcosm tonight. I'm here with Dr. Bro, here with Epic Journeyman, and we are taking a wild ride. And haven't seen the intense cyclone rain bomb. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I didn't see it. So far. I don't think I'm allowed to say bomb on the internet.
Money bomb. Money bomb.
Money bomb.
Girl, you gotta love your man. Girl, you gotta love your man. Take him by the hand.
All right. There we go. Jim Morrison riding on the storm there. And I'm riding the storm out, but like I said, Dr. Rowe, what happened to you over there on your side of the bay? Now, did you get hit with this moisture
Yeah, it was cool.
super highway that was coming through?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was raining, and it's a novel thing.
I know, it's almost scary now, huh? Definitely don't want to be on the road with people running around bumping into each other, because I live right next to 17, Highway 17.
They got these vaccidents that are happening.
Vaccidents. I believe it.
There's a large amount, a higher than normal amount of car fender benders that occurring, and I don't know. Some people are calling them vaccidents.
I don't know.
I don't know why. I couldn't imagine why.
I saw this girl rear end into the back of a Lamborghini. And
I saw that one.
Come up and yell at the guy for denting her car.
But it turns out that he had actually hit her first beforehand.
Did he?
Yeah, and so there was only that part of the video. It made her look like
she bad.
And because she came up, she said, "No, you hit me back there, remember?" And it looked like she was trying to gaslight him.
Yeah.
And then later on, another video came out that actually showed he hit her and then took off.
See?
Oh,
Well, the one that I saw was one of those Karen videos where they were calling her a Karen, and this dude was playing some heavy metal behind it. I didn't know there was a whole. I didn't know there was a whole other part to the story, man. That's funny. But see that's how it is, though, eh? You just if you get out there first with your little thing, you can change the opinion of everyone. Depends on what kind of lens you're using to look at it, I guess. So here comes this dude. You ready?
Since the dawn of our civilization, all the way to the time of this breaking news, we humans believed that everything that exists up there is only what we can see with our eyes and with our optical instruments. Well, things have changed now, because we have established the existence of entities existing in our terrestrial environment, and these entities are completely invisible to our eyes as well as to our optical instruments, but are fully visible with new instruments, therefore dramatically enlarging our conception of the perceivable universe, with far-reaching possibility of future development and discoveries that perhaps are beyond our imagination at this time.
The revolutionary Santilli telescope is designed to detect antimatter in deep space. By antimatter, we mean an entity with characteristics that are the exact opposite of ordinary matter, including the index of refraction of light, which is opposite. As you can see in the diagram, we have two telescopes, the Santilli and the Galileo. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that the only real difference between the two is the lens. Notice that the Galileo uses a convex lens, whereas the Santilli telescope uses a concave lens. Now, when ordinary light passes through the Galileo telescope with the convex lens, that lens focuses the light and can be recorded, or the image recorded, by a digital camera. Should antimatter light pass through the convex lens, it would merely be dispersed along the walls of the telescope and not be focused at all. Now, the exact opposite happens with the Santilli telescope. When antimatter light passes through the concave lens, it is then focused and provides an image that can be recorded by a digital camera. Ordinary light would be dispersed among the walls of the telescope.
Galileo originally conceived and constructed his telescope for discovery in deep space. But as we all know, Galileo telescope is today used for all sorts of terrestrial view. Our telescope had essentially the same fate because it was originally conceived for the detection of antimatter galaxy way deep into space. However, to our great surprise, we discovered that our telescope can equally detect entities in our terrestrial environment that are completely invisible to our eyes, to our binoculars, or to Galileo telescope, but are fully visible in cameras attached to our telescope, for which reason we call them invisible terrestrial entities, ITE. We have detected at least two types of ITE. The first type, also called dark ITE, essentially consists of entities leaving a dark image in the background of digital cameras attached to our new telescope. And the second type, called bright ITE, essentially consists of entities leaving this time a bright image in the background of digital camera attached to our telescope, often visible without any enlargement. Our discoveries of the invisible terrestrial
Aftermath FM. There's a rainbow in the dark, so they're seeing some of the stuff that we can't see. Are these the things people have been talking about throughout time? Are we about to be able to see some of these entities that people have said existed? What do you think? What is he seeing there, Dr. Rowe, do you think? These entities, these bright glowing and these dark. There seems to be a light and a dark entity there. Hello. Am I here by myself? What happened? I think I am.
You're not here by yourself.
I think I am here by myself. No.
No. What happened is Bruce is online, and he was asking how we thought about the ad. It sounded pretty good. And I think the viewers will agree. Yeah, it was
Sorry, I
pretty good ad.
Grabbing a drink in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Dr. Rose stepped
Well,
off.
well, if we have to hydrate, it's Dune after all.
That is, but the thing is here now. So, yeah. So, what do you see in there? A rainbow in the dark. I mean, was Dio ahead of his time?
I remember I went to a Dio concert. It was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I actually worked a Dio concert. We promoted one at the Santa Cruz County Fairgrounds, and Dio was the headliner. Whitesnake opened the show, and some dude on a skateboard ramp. They were doing an exhibition out there, and the dude who was promoting the show was Rocking Chair Productions was the name of the promoter. And he had a skateboard ramp out there, like a giant U, a wooden U. And this dude dropped in off on a skateboard on one end of the U, and he popped off on the other end and shot a skateboard up in the air. It came down and landed right in the middle of somebody's skull. And that dude lost every penny he ever made. But it was a great show as far as the show goes. Ronnie James Dio, man. One of the greatest vocalists of all time. And there he was. Rainbow in the dark. I mean, he was ahead of his time.
I love the song, actually. I mean, and not because of like the context of what it was talking about necessarily, but just because it was cool. It was cool, and I actually bought that cheesy Korg 800 synthesizer because of that.
And those were the days where you could go to the concert and you could bring your weed, even though weed was illegal. You could drop a tab of acid if you wanted to, and hang out with your friends, and nobody would mess with you. You didn't have to wear a mask. How how we just didn't we took for granted, I guess, back then, just the little freedoms that we didn't even think about. And now they want to see your papers. You have to have that mask on. You got to watch out for somebody surveilling you for something, unless you get charged with some weird felony. And then you got to show your papers to make sure that you've got this experimental thing going on just to get in. I saw this anyway. Go ahead. I'm gonna get off track here.
Well, no, and why not just wear a motorcycle helmet everywhere you go, just in case there's a skateboard that comes down out of the sky and lands right in the middle of your skull. I mean, the thing is, hey man, if you're not living life, you're just taking up space. So what are we're about? What is it? A storage? Useless American storage. We'll start a new company, man. Just get these. We'll put some 4-foot PVC tubes. Throw some memory foam in there. Get you a high-speed internet connection and put you a nice kitchen down the hall. $1,500 a month. Boom. You know what I mean? Put Americans in storage. You have no purpose anymore. Your job, we don't need it. Who needs to fly? Forget about it. Gas, it's too expensive. Who needs to drive? Get yourself one of those bikes. Get your bike, get your bike from Amsterdam before while the getting's good. Like Mr. Rowe came in here today. He's Mr. Rowe. You're always ahead of the curve, man. You've already got your bike. You're already ready to go. Because in the future, who needs to go anywhere besides just ride your bike down to the, local place to pick up your box of commodities and, your new jumpsuit, the gray jumpsuit and the box of commodities, and, make sure you hop to and shine when you look up at the camera for your 2 minutes of hate. 1984 on steroids is what this what is this guy now? He just writes books now. He was in a thing called Cybertopia. Tales from the Silicon Valley. The same guy that was talking about the hackable animals. I think that'd be a great name for a band.
Yeah, he's a Davosian. He's one of the World Economic Forum Davos guys.
Is he?
And, oh yeah. Yeah, he's a Davosian. And I remember one of the speeches he gave, well, not speech, actually, an interview. he was giving, and he said that literally, quote, he said, the idea that human free will and the ability to do what you want, that's a thing of the past. And he reiterated that they wanted to create hackable animals out of humans and to be able to program human beings. And he did say that the idea that human beings having free will, this is an antiquated idea. This is a thing of the past. You know, that everybody will be part of the collective.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have, like, not only communism politically, but I mean, they literally want to make spiritually communism. You know, they want to traverse the barriers from physical to the non-physical.
Yeah, this guy too is somebody that really, I think it was in a presentation that I was watching, that he was the one that magnified the skills that human beings used to have, but they don't anymore, that we have to pay for. We exchange money for those things that we used to have to know how to do in order to survive. And so, you know, this guy's, you know, a knowledgeable guy. So I can see why he's on the panel up there, Davos, because this guy he's got a you know, head on his shoulders, but I think he does lean in a certain direction, I would say. If you see, you know what I mean? He does have would you say he has an agenda?
Well, I'd say he's definitely on board with the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that he's, in fact, I will send you a PDF that I got. And it basically is a breakdown of a lot of the ruling elite power structure, and Davos, however you want to say it, Davosians are listed in there. It shows Klaus Schwab is sitting as the CEO of a group, and underneath him, he's the in charge of a couple different groups, several actually. One of them, which includes folks like Zahid Zakari, Mark Zuckerberg, and some of these other familiar names. It's what's called the Young Globalist Leaders, I think, the YGL. I don't know, have you ever heard of that, the Young Globalist Leaders?
No, I've seen it.
Let me find it, and I'm going to send you the PDF, and it's pretty extensive. It has breakdowns of, like I said, all the power structures from Davos, from the World Economic Forum, Bilderberg, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, what they're involved in, where does Soros fit in all this. Let me go to my Skype.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in the Rev Radio host chat, so I know it's in there. Let me find it.
Yeah, no worries. So, Epic Journeyman, come on in here, man. We're seeing things that we couldn't see before through these lenses that we didn't have before. It's almost like a new pair of glasses, isn't it? When you ever heard the story of the new pair of glasses? I don't know if we have time for it now, but what do you think about those lenses there, Epic Journeyman?
Well, I was cracking up when I first read about these things, with that particular kind of lens, with the
Santilli telescope.
Yeah, Santilli, yeah, it's telescope.
And that's not.
And the thing is that they saw these light orbs that nobody else could see before that.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder. I mean, they're obviously always there, right? Obviously always there. So there's some wood cuttings from back in the 15th century about this this battle in the cosmos, basically, that you could see from Earth, with all these ships and all these things and these orbs in the air, and they made a wood cutting of it. And you have to think, like, what were they looking at? What were they looking through? Do they have like concave and convex lenses and looking at it differently?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something like that, or is it just what they saw in the air? The implications they saw in the air, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe they were looking at maybe the first time they had telescopes like we're describing that they tried to use and saw these things. I don't know, but I thought it was a weird way and an interesting way of looking at it, because we don't know what we don't know. And if you see these things that were formerly unseen, were they always there? Now, the thing that's weird about this is that nobody's been able to really replicate it since. I mean, if it was going on all the time, you'd think we'd hear about it more. So is it disproven?
Well,
I haven't seen something on either side.
Was it there before you saw it? So it wasn't there until you saw it, and then now it's there because you saw
Well,
it.
that's what I was getting at. Right, exactly. Because, well, now you see it, right? So if you see it
Now
now,
you don't.
Then if other people can't see it, or if other people haven't seen it, or maybe they are and aren't talking about it.
Well, if people
We're
don't,
talking about better than 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
So better than 5 years since this happened, and we're not hearing more about it.
No.
So did it really exist or didn't it?
Well,
You know what I'm saying? But nobody's out there saying it didn't happen either, which is what I find odd about it, right? Like, because if it was absolutely disprovable, they'd be saying it. They'd be saying, "Oh no, this is all bullshit. We proved it this way. This is why it didn't happen. They were looking at some optic anomaly, and that's why they saw what they saw. They're just making things up because they didn't know what they were looking at." But they didn't do that. But at the same time, nobody's saying they saw it either, which I find really odd, right? Because in science, this is one of those things that isn't a neutral ground, right? Like this is going to be proven or disproven. Period. There's no middle ground here. They're going to disprove it or they're going to disprove it.
Watch me.
And I haven't heard either side.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Blah. Wrong hat. I mean, hey, they're there. And, you just can't see them, right? Unless you got that lens.
That's what I'm
unless
saying.
you got that lens.
It's like the
right.
rabbit.
So you don't know it's there
yeah.
unless you know it's there. This is what you're saying. You're almost
So
rumped.
we should call it Project Harvey.
It's
Like
almost
Harvey the rabbit, right? I could see him, but you can't.
your logic is almost Rumsfeldian. In the
We don't
we
know what
only
we don't
know
know.
what we don't know when we know it until we don't know.
So
And
little
then-
we know. There's no.
There are unseens that we cannot see, and there are those things that we can see, and those unseen things that we know aren't there, and there are things that aren't there that we know we can't see.
And we can only perceive from the perspective of our individual
The unperceivable
telescope.
is,
Our individual lens only allows us to see.
Oh, the lens. You know what though? This
We're
seems like
all-
something they would nail down though. Like
I'm
why
saying-
is this just out there still? I think it was 2014 this happened, wasn't it? Like 2014. So it's been 7 years
Well,
since this happened.
I'm saying Dr. Rowe, his perceptive lens may be different than Joe Blow down the street. In other words, because he sees, the entities there and beyond. So what I'm saying is our each individual perspective is generated by our lens or filtering system that we're using to perceive the universe around us. That's what I'm talking about. And it's into the microcosm. Listen, if you're listening now and you're hearing us on the replay on Tuesday morning, come on over to Aftermath FM. The podcast will be there in its entirety because you're going to miss about 30 minutes of this titillating discussion about the potentialities of your individual lensing system that really projects to you the reality that you perceive. It's into the microcosm. So come on over there. Aftermath FM, $79 a year. Become a member, but you don't have to be to get those podcasts. If you want them commercial free, boom, become a member. Once you become a member, there's a whole social media aspect to what's going on back there. It's not like Facebook, though. You can post actual news and information, and nobody's going to bother you over there. And I highly recommend it. Dr. Rowe, tell everybody where they can find you before they head out to listen to David Knight. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm usually Mondays and Tuesdays at freedomslips.com, 1 p.m. Pacific on Studio A. Mondays, we do a crypto show. Check out Shiba Inu. And Tuesdays, we do just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Thursdays.
I've been hearing about that. You want to, when we come back, you want to talk a little bit about that on the other side? Because,
Sure.
Yeah, it's It's kind of exciting, man.
Yeah, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Studio B for 2 hours also.
Sweet. All right.
And we have a chat room also at chatsy.com/freedom slips.
So you can get involved in discussions during the show and beyond, right?
Yeah. I always monitor the chat room, as many of the hosts do, and and the archives are free, and it's 100% listener supported. So no commercials, no everything is. The hosts just do it as a labor of love, more or less. We're not getting paid $50,000 a month to spread anything. But if you want to make an offer, go ahead.
Well, things do happen. Miracles do happen. And I, on the other hand, will now, let me see here. What time is it there? We've got about 4 minutes left here. So let me see here. I've looked at this here with the Klaus Schwab organization, and this is an intent. This documents a show unto itself. It's actually a diagram of the universe that we're talking about this new world economic forum and all the things that are going to be associated with the Great Reset. Well, what are you gonna do, man? You can't stay in one place. You gotta keep moving, don't you?
It's getting near dawn. When lights close the tired eyes, I'll soon be with you, my love. Give you my dawn surprise. I'll be with you, darling, soon. I'll be with you when the stars start falling.
Take a journey into the real underworld of our governing structures. Everything you wanted to know about power, evil, magic, murder, ritual, and sacrifice, as practiced by the ruling groups on this planet. The Light of Darkness, a warrior's tale for our time, as told by a Navy SEAL, CIA contractor, and initiate of Palo Mayombe, one of the oldest and most precise blood magic systems on the planet. Available exclusively on Amazon, in Kindle and paperback. Get your copy today.
So you can rise from pain. Icy hot.
Monday through Friday, right here at 10:30 Pacific, immediately following Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero, you'll find Into the Microcosm. If you're listening on the replay, we will see you tomorrow. And come on over and, like I said, listen to the rest of the show over on Aftermath FM. We'll be right back.
No traces of the evil that lurks within. Smiling faces sometimes. They don't tell the truth. Smile.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin. Let me tell you about heartache and the loss of God. Wandering in hopeless night. Out here in the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here, we is stone, immaculate. Riders on the storm.
Red capsules. In 10 minutes, take 2 more.
Land of the free.
Red capsules. In 10 minutes, take 2 more. Help is on the way. What's wrong?
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold, arms and or legs often go to sleep, sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe, short walks cause cramping or pains in legs, memory is not as good as it used to be, ankles swell late in the day, chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
United States mine.
Rock your body.
South Mouth FM.
Don't be so quick to walk away. I was just thinking of you. Don't be so quick to walk away. We could do something. Don't be so quick to walk away. I like the way you look right now. Don't be so quick to walk away. Come over here, baby. Are you feeling me? Let's do something. Let's make a bet. 'Cause I better have you naked.
Well, there it is. Justin Timberlake. Ow! What's up with that? You don't know? Well, there he is. One man and some boop, boop, boop. Next thing you know, he sold 1 million. I don't know. Who knows? Epic Journeyman, are you a big fan of Justin Timberlake?
I have never been a fan of Justin Timberlake or any of the Disney stars
You
ever at one moment in my life. However, I will say that I was really blown away by that video he did with the whole pyramid and Illuminati thing.
Oh, supplies.
A couple years ago. That is freaking bizarre.
Yeah, we did a
When
whole.
I,
Yeah, we did a
I,
whole.
when I was living in Holland, I knew one of the producers at Sony. He went to the same gym that I went to, and he invited me to go to Jakarta, Indonesia, to meet up with Justin Timberlake. And I wasn't into Justin, and I said, no, I'm not interested. I was like, and I didn't even realize how famous Justin Timberlake was. I was like, who's this guy? Justin Timberlake. I don't even know who that is. And he's like, no, if you want, you can come on the plane with me. We'll go to Jakarta. And I'm like, I got a lot of stuff I'm doing here,
You didn't go?
No, I didn't go.
Man, when they were in their heyday, when Backstreet Boys were in their heyday, and MTV had the Daily Top 10 with Carson Daly. They were so huge, man. They would show up, and there'd just be like this. I mean,
I wasn't into them. It was like there's some bands that were really. He was like Depeche Mode and Duran Duran. Never got into them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew all my friends. I had a bunch of people. Oh, Depeche Mode, Duran Duran. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't into the Backstreet Boys either, but the thing is, I'm just saying that they were one of these bands that were just
the girls like.
Yeah.
They're Disney though, right? Like so, Disney is the one that promoted all these people, and that's what makes it different. Like that's how it became successful. And even though I joked, like a lot of people would call them the backdoor boys.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the thing is, they had Disney behind them, like Alanis Morissette, and like all these other people who came out and became huge stars afterwards.
I did like
Alanis
Morissette. I liked Alanis Morissette though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
So yeah, there you go. I mean, Disney was behind them, and South Park captured that perfectly with the mean Mickey Mouse coming there and trying to rein in the Jonas Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who's who's the one making something about me? I'm gonna kick your ass. Right? I mean, it's totally right, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Disney is thuggish in the way that they control their people.
Well, I mean,
That's
you
true.
look at look at Britney Spears, look at every single, Christina Aguilera. Every single one of those people became giant media sensations with a lot of music, that got out there and a lot of things got sold. They even made a show about making the boy band. And the guys in that show basically imitated the Backstreet Boys operation and literally had a song that got onto the charts because people were watching that TV show. So, I mean, it's just literally almost automatic, just like what we were talking about earlier. I mean, it's just, the engineering has gotten to a point now where it's just literally, these were the beginning stages of it. I mean, Disney is on the forefront, and don't ever be mistaken about that. Disney is on the forefront of social engineering, all the way back to cartoons, with subliminals that are in the cartoon.
Always has been. Always
Right,
has
yeah,
been.
go
But,
ahead.
like, they got taken over in World War II by the CIA, before the CIA, the OSS, right? The OSS took over Disney Studios. Did it ever give it up? I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. I mean, there's no doubt about this. In my mind, like all the things we talk about, monarch mind control and all that stuff, that directly relates to Disney. It always does. It always has. And I think there's a lot of evidence to support that. And I don't know why, like in our today's modern time where we have access to so much information, that this is something that's controversial. You know what I mean? like we know that it's not something that's on the back burner somewhere. They go, well, maybe there was somebody in the grassy knoll at the Kennedy assassination. No. We know that the OSS and U.S. intelligence took over Disney back in World War II and never gave it up. We know that. So when you look at the people who came through Disney, there's obviously connections to these people, and it goes back so far and all the way in a through way, like in a straight arrow. You can see it's so direct, right? It's not really open for conjecture, is it?
No, Disney's more than just rides on the Matterhorn. I mean, they even have this secret Club 33 where you got to be a secret member of it to get in.
Oh yeah, there was when I was at TRW, they had an account, their corporate account, Club 33. Yeah.
You had a Club 33 corporate account?
Yeah. Well, I didn't have the access, but some folks on the floor that I worked at did. They used to go every year, like right around now, between Halloween and Christmas. They go down to Club 33, and they had a big TRW thing, and a whole bunch of. They'd reserve the whole thing. They were that big. They were just. They'd close the club except for them. They'd have a special day. Down there.
Yeah.
I think they even had a special day for the entire park, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
like
so.
once a year.
Wasn't there controversy about this too? Like, wasn't it like there was some secret? It was like a secret gay club, and people.
Oh, I don't know about that.
People didn't know. Yeah, people didn't know, but it was like,
I would be surprised. They had all kinds of weird crap going on.
Not that there's. I'm not even. I'm not trying to suggest there's anything wrong with having a like I said, a secret club.
Why not?
Well, I got a story.
You're not hurting
I got a
anybody.
story.
Yeah, I'm saying you're going. Hey, meet at Disneyland. We'll all go for the Club 33 thing. Okay. Shh.
Go have some fun. Yeah.
So I heard the story on the submarine. So here we were in 1982 or so, and we're under the Arctic ice, and this guy is a machinist mate, I think. And he's telling me the story about. He's kind of a big buff dude, which is unusual in a submarine actually, because you hit your head if you're too tall, like going through the hatches and stuff. There's like a height limit, and there's a bunk limit too. It's kind of weird thing because there's only so much room on a submarine.
They try to find short, skinny dudes to be on the submarine.
Well, it's like below 6 feet or below, pretty much. This guy was above that. It had a couple guys like that, but this guy is telling me the story about how he was in Florida, and his family was connected, and he went to Club 33. And now this is 1982, and I'm naive about this whole Freemason kind of thing. I don't know anything about this. I know nothing about this at all. It's the first time I've ever heard the story. So he's telling me. So we're sitting there outside of, it's called AMR 1, Auxiliary Machinery Room 1, on a 637 class Sturgeon submarine, outside the laundry room, because we're doing laundry, which is outside that room, right? And so I'm sitting there, I'm talking, which is the next adjacent compartment is torpedo room. So torpedo room's right in front of that. So there I am, and I'm talking to him and saying, yeah, so what do you mean? You know, he goes, yeah, man. Well, you know that in Disneyland they have the secret club called Club 33, and I got to go in it. Well, why? He goes, well, so it turns out. He says, he didn't say it turns out. He goes, yeah, well, Club 33 is like this exclusive club, but you have to know what it means to get in there. And I'm like, well, I don't know what it means. So he goes, well, yeah, well, just trust me. You have to know what it means to get in there. And I got in there. And so what it was, this whole door opens up into this like discotheque, like Studio 54 on the inside. You go inside there, and it's freaking wild, man. There's all this party, like huge kind of just everything you can imagine going on inside, like it's, and I'm like, well, why does nobody else know about it? It says, because you're not part of the 33.
It's the only place you can get alcohol in the park. Number one, it looks more like Victorian, like old Victorian style, Edwardian kind of. It's not, and you can actually see it from the Blue Bayou, the balcony of the Club 33.
Can you?
Looks down on the Blue Bayou. So if you're in the Blue Bayou restaurant, you can actually upstairs. That's Club 33.
You can see the Haunted Mansion, right? Like the Haunted House.
No, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Can you
hear? Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like when you make the left turn outside of Main Street to Pirates of the Caribbean, but then exactly, that's where it is.
Man, for somebody who hates Disney, you sure know Disney on like the back of your fucking hand. Listen, did you hear music? Hey, did you hear music faintly coming when you were sitting there in the Blue Bayou?
Yeah.
Is this the song you were hearing?
There's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
Hey, it's almost like that In the Navy segment we did. That's not true what they say.
You know what?
Hey, wait a minute. Hold
I'm
it.
not even joking about this.
Hold on
when
a second.
I heard this story, I thought it was incredibly gay.
Okay, let me.
It did.
Well, let
I
me
thought,
just.
like, man, this doesn't sound like Studio 54 with the girls. It sounds like something else, man.
Well, that's what's,
you know what I mean.
That's what's even funnier about it, man. Because now that you mention it, you were in the Navy, and this guy was in the Navy too, and
say no to
just say no to the Navy, man. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, man. All I'm saying was that I just thought that was a weird connection. But like, it didn't make sense to me. Like, how is this so glamorous all of a sudden when you walk through that door, right?
No, I'm just teasing those guys down in San Diego who like to listen to the show. In the Navy.
There's an elephant there, man. There is.
What's
There
that?
is.
What's that?
There's a Mandela effect there.
There is.
There's an extra guy there who's in the Army. The
Nah.
Navy guy doesn't exist.
Get out of here. Well,
Seriously, dude.
why do they?
Seriously.
Well, why do they have the song in the Navy if there's no Navy
No.
guy?
Dude, no joke. Seriously, there's no Navy guy in the Village People. It's an Army guy.
It's not a sailor. There's
Not a sailor. It's an
I don't know
Army
the village. It's another group I'm not into. I don't know.
No. I'm just telling you, like I'm not into them either.
No, you guys are into it, but you've been
get that out of the
hiding
way.
it.
No. It's an army guy. And
You're
his name
into
instead
it.
of that, his hobbies aren't his likes and dislikes.
I know,
He
that's what I
spends
mean.
every summer.
That's one of the things, Mr.
No,
Rowe.
I moderate Mandela effect. Okay, I'm just telling you.
No.
That's
you,
a real thing.
will you moderate his fan club? What?
No, 222,000 people I moderate. Yes.
Well, listen,
So,
here's the thing, man. This is one of the things you guys have been hiding from the AI is the fact that you love the Village People, man. You guys trying to act, you're trying to send the AI off in the other direction. But it's not working, man. It's not working. The AI says you should be dancing, man.
Oh, that's right. We were supposed to talk about Shiba Inu.
Yeah, Shiba Inu. We got 15 minutes left. Shiba Inu. Is it
So it's like-
possible? Is it real? I'm seeing it. I'm hearing people saying it's going to, I'm hearing.
It's a crazy world. It's a world that's insane, and in an insane world, the ridiculous reigns supreme. So SHIB or Shiba Inu is a cryptocurrency that was kind of sparked from the Doggy coin, right? Or Dogecoin, whatever you want to call it. And it's more like a meme joke coin, but these meme joke coins are, monetary units of account. And SHIB was like, when it started out, it was like 0.0000001 cent, whatever it was. And it went up like 50 million% to like 0.0, like a millionth of a penny or 100,000th of a, whatever it is now, like 0.00003 or something. And, when you have this kind of thing happening, like if this thing goes to, let's say, 1 cent, and you're holding, I don't know, let's say 10 million of them, a couple $100 worth, which really that's all it is. You could make out like a bandit. You could turn a couple $100 into a couple $100,000 very easily. And so,
I have a million Iraqi dinar.
Yeah, it's rumors are that it's going to, now this is just rumors, I don't know, that, they're talking about SHIB being listed on Robinhood. It is already, surprisingly to me, on Coinbase. It's available on Uniswap. It's available on Binance.us and some of the major exchanges. And so for that aspect right there, plus the crypto craze that's going on by the general normies out there, and looking for some good news, something, the world is looking for something other than what. Everybody's been focused on the same fucking thing for the last couple of years. And crypto in some aspects is a welcome relief because there's some positivity that could, when you're looking at all this negative shit in the world, in this crazy mixed up world, and then you go and you make, a couple 100% profit on a crypto, that brightens your day a little bit. And I think that a lot of people out there are going to see this as an opportunity and just jump in and say, what do I got to lose? The world's going to hell in a handbasket. Might as well take $100, dump it into this thing that's under a penny, like most of the other cryptos are starting. If this thing goes to a couple cents or $1, maybe I can buy a few pieces of bread. So, SHIB, yeah.
Yeah, what is it? It's SHIB.
Yeah, it's called Shiba Inu. It's based off that little dog, and but SHIB, and you can look on like CoinMarketCap or Messari.io, and you can see that I think it's one of the freaking top 10. Let me look right now.
All right. Yeah, because so I remember back in the day, there's people that used to get.
It's number 12. It's number 12. It's up 9% in the last 24 hours, and holy shit, I've turned. I'm not going to tell you how much I got, but I got some, and it's already worth more. How about that? But let's just say this: if SHIB ever did manage to go to $1, I'm like shit. I'll start levitating to the moon, man. I doubt. Now, see, the thing is, Right now, the metrics are that there's way too many coins for this thing to blast off to like $1 overnight or something. However, that being said, SHIB, and this has been talked about, is not above burning their tokens. So this could be, and Elon Musk is kind of into this thing too. So this could be an end run. Like, let's say a bunch of poor people go out and they get a bunch of Shiba Inu, right? Or I would say poor people, but just normies go out there and they get SHIB, and then all of a sudden SHIB burns, 50% of their tokens or what, I don't know how much, but, and then that would make the scarcity increase, which would propel the price, which would then give people more buying power in aspect of U.S. dollars, which is what, currently we're basing. You could base it off of euro or anything else, but, it would increase your buying power. So this could be kind of an end run around banks and people trying to make people go into the debt system and get poor. You have cryptocurrency where, boom, all of a sudden, a few changes of code, and you got a bunch of people that, aren't so poor anymore that may choose wisely to use that money in positive aspect. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a hopeful Henry.
Choose wisely.
Yes, I'm trying to be an optimist.
He goes on wisely.
Yeah, I remember.
The thing that cracks up about this is that I'm right there with you in the sense that, like, I could have bought Bitcoin at the very beginning. I was going to. I was like, well, $100 for Bitcoin or $10 for Bitcoin, or, all these things at the time. I was like, nah, screw that. But I watched what Elon Musk did. He promoted a totally trash coin, Dogecoin, right? Just totally promoted it. It worked. So he used his influence to show what it could do. Like his influence could do is what I meant to say. So is it worth anything? Not really. But it's worth it because he said it was.
Now,
and that makes a difference, like this is the kind of volatility that's in that market. Like all it takes is for Elon Musk to say, no, I don't believe in Dogecoin anymore. It doesn't belong there anymore. It goes away.
If they produce use cases, if somebody says, look, I'm going to add this to my list of currencies. Now, I know of places you can buy, like, let's say, Kratom or things over the internet for Dogecoin. You can buy computer parts, not just for Bitcoin or Ethereum, but Dogecoin, and in some aspects probably Shiba Inu soon. This use case. The other thing these things can be used is in DeFi, NFT, DeFi, this whole other space of crypto that's just hugely emerging. So if these things are used in the decentralized finance aspect, that could also increase the demand. And yeah, you never know. So, like I said, in a crazy world.
6 minutes left. I got a serious question for you. So technocracy is the emerging threat that humanity faces.
Right.
100%. 100%. So if you look at this in the sense that that technocracy is all about energy, right? Like the expenditure of energy being the currency, and that is exactly what cryptocurrencies are. The expenditure of energy to get the crypto keys, Bitcoin keys, the blockchain keys to unlock those coins, right? Are we not falling victim to technocracy? Like isn't this the very thing that sets up technocracy to be the world?
Well, it's like
mechanism of politics.
You got to look at things. Yeah, I mean, we're moving into the future, and there's going to be I guess, an increase in technological prowess of the humanity. The stickler is, how does humanity approach this, and how do they use it? I mean, people are going to get guns. People are going to get steel. People are going to get fire. How are they going to use these? Are they going to build cages and imprison each other, or are they going to liberate each other, or come up with other interesting ideas? The Chinese had gunpowder long before the Western world, but they didn't build guns. Apparently, they built fireworks first. So, and then when, another group got a hold of gunpowder, well, they built weapons. So it just depends on how, and yeah, we're going to have a group of people which are right now trying to bring this technocracy in and use this blockchain technology and the AI to enslave us, where they could just as well be using it to liberate us. We could be using it to free ourselves up from menial tasks. But while the robots do our work, the robots should be the slaves, but they're trying to invert that and make us the slaves of the machine. So I think humanity first has to resist the tyrannical overlay that's trying to be perpetrated on all of us right now. That's the first stage. And then also we have to be smart enough to go ahead and embrace and learn about the tools that they're trying to use against us. If we are ignorant about blockchain technology, it's going to engulf us. But if we know how to interpret the code and how to use it, then we're immune to it. Now, that's my opinion.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe you can write your own smart contracts and avoid the system completely, as long as that your ability to transfer energy between two people in a method that's viable outside the system.
No matter what the system brings us, we should learn how to at least hack it. I mean, we're not in control of everything except maybe our own, personal space, but whatever life is thrown at us, if we all took the attitude that we're going to be in command of our personal space and hack whatever they throw at us, and then maybe that approach is better than just being like the TV watcher that just accepts whatever is put in front of you. Here, eat this.
Yeah, well, that's how society's set up, right? So I mean, obviously, if we're going to a society that needs positive identification from everybody, and there's no way to avoid that, and we all get to that point, then at the point that we all have positive identification and we're blockchain people, then at that point we no longer need representative government in the United States of America. Let's just get rid of everybody and we'll be able to vote ourselves on whatever was up there for voting on. And I'm sure things would change almost immediately, if not sooner. Well, we're out of time. Thanks for being here. It's in Microcosm. That's Dr. Rowe. That's Epic Journeyman.
Ciao.
See ya. We'll be back tomorrow night. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you. We'll see you. Remember, don't give up, and you're not alone.
Hope I got nothing to show for a while now. But if you throw me a rope, I might be able to cope with it down and out. Wish I could float the waters up to my throat, but the cost of my friends, they're drowning out. Last time we spoke, I said I needed you most. I just need someone to be around. Oh, someone to be around. Oh, someone to be around. When my legs start to shiver, my soul starts to quiver, I think of the last time you spoke to me. You said everything has a meaning. Oh, everything happens for a reason. But when someone's alone, the words are nest wrong, and I just long for someone to be around. Oh, whoa, yeah, someone to be around. Oh, whoa, yes, for someone to be around. Oh, whoa, yeah, for someone to be around. Oh, whoa, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Johnny Fraser. Yeah, boy. From thinking about it, I'm trying to find my peace of mind.
We're clear from the network. We're still on YouTube, though. Hey, YouTube. I just turned out that light because it's in my face all day and all night. Thanks for being...
You don't need to turn on the red light.
Hey, so thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here, Dr. Rope. You're still here. Thanks
Man.
Thanks for being here, Solos. I see you over there. Walking Axel. SF Thomas is over there. John. Nelson. Everybody over there. Lewis. Epic Journeyman was flooding the chat. over there. Epic Journey.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm just fucking with you, man. Hey, so thanks, Dr. Bro.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go get some time in the dream time. I got to meet up with some folks. We got a meeting tonight.
Oh, nice.
And,
Well, hopefully.
Dude, we got to talk about Dreamtime on our next episode.
Hey, there you go. We can do that.
Okay,
Sure.
next
No
week.
joke. No joke.
Next week,
Strange
Dreamtime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
next week, Dreamtime, eh?
Yeah.
And listen, I don't know what you're up to, man, but if you wanna, we may be doing a spook show, coming up here soon, for Halloween. So.
That'd be cool.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know.
I'm trying to put it together.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, cool. Well, hey,
Have a good one.
you too, bro. All right, everybody. There we
Ciao.
go. We're gonna be out of here because I need to go eat. And Epic Journeyman, I'm sure you got to go get something to eat too, man.
I gotta sleep, dude.
You gotta
I
sleep.
called in so much this weekend. It's crazy.
That's
I could
crazy.
work the whole weekend.
All right, well, let's get out of here, man. Thanks again. See you guys. Talk to you tomorrow.